What is going on, viewers of YouTube? Sunspot here, and I am back to give you guys my review of the Transformers Generations Power of the Primes Deluxe Class Dreadwind. Yes, finally! Power of the Primes is among us, and Titan's Return has ended. Yes, that is true. Titan's Return is no more. We did get our final figure of the last wave, which I personally believe was the 2-pack from Walgreens. However, Cosmos, Sea Spray, and Slug Sleener did come out at the same time. Regardless, this guy, as well as, I believe, 2 other Dinobots showed up in California, as well as other states across the US, and obviously in Asia, Europe, etc. I was only able to get my hands on this guy here, Dreadwind, who, as you could tell, is very, very colorful. Did find this guy at my local Target, and I must say that he is very, very Combiner Wars-esque. Extremely similar. At first, when playing with this guy, I thought I was actually playing with a remold or a retool, I guess, of the Combiner Wars line. However, he is slightly different. Maybe not by much, but what can you do? However, before we get into this little pretty guy over here, let's take a look at this box. And you are quickly going to see that there is something holding it. Yep, look at that. There's some wood cleaner right there. Yeah, so they're using a different kind of packaging now. I'll just remove this. It's unnecessary. And so, yeah, there's the figure, all of his accessories, whatnot. You do... well, you're able to swap out these like chest pieces and stuff with Micronus and Vector Prime and Liege Maxima or whatever. Yeah, so different powers, essentially. This one says Power Swap, Micronus, Time Traveler, Trickster, blah, blah, blah. What can you do? I don't even know what any of that is, personally. And there's his bio. And if you are curious, there's his art in the front. And no longer do we have our typical Titan's Return packages where they're held on by tape and something at the back. But nope, they're kind of like clamshells now. You just plop them open. But unfortunately, I can't actually display these because that happened. So that's kind of annoying, but what can you do? I'm going to move this out of the way and bring this little dude into the shot, and he's a little bit loose, I am not going to lie. One moment while I fix the camera. There he is. Yep, I like him a lot, but he does have his issues. Now, this is actually an accessory. You can just remove this, pull this part up to reveal his Decepticon logo, and really that's how the figure is supposed to look. And he looks okay. He's obviously not the best-looking Decepticon that we have had. However, he suits. So he does come with a weapon right here. I'll get to the other accessory in a bit. And it's pretty plain. I do like this blue shade that they went with. It is nice. It's appearing a little bit brighter in my camera. It's a tad bit greener in person, but, you know, what can you do? So, nice molding detail. Really love it. It's a tight fit in his hand. Just not a lot of paint application, which sucks. And it's a really tight fit. It's actually kind of a pain to get off. So... he does have ports on either side of his arms if you want to go Seeker style and place them in there, but that looks kind of cool. I wish the peg didn't show as much. That kind of sucks. But yeah. So you can remove that, and actually I wonder, can you even place... Yeah, you can place them in here too. With that looks kind of cool, actually. I dig that. I dig that, actually. That's neat. And so yeah, he comes with that, and the other thing I wanted to show you for this guy is this. So what you're supposed to do when you get those powers or whatever, you can swap them and put them in here, is my guess. So, yeah. And it's held by a peg, nothing drastic, really. And in case you can't tell, it's a hand, yes. Because these are combiners once again, so that's a hand. For who, I'm not fully sure yet. I have not looked into it, but that is a hand, and if you would like... pull this peg forward, and you see his Decepticon symbol here, as I did before. Just pull it down, and it'll just peg in nicely, and that looks kind of cool. I mean, he's a little top heavy now, but it kind of looks neat. I dig that. I think it looks nice. So, especially with his gun. Remove that, put it to the side, and pull this back up. And now let's just take, I guess, a standard look at the figure. So starting with his head sculpt, right? Not the most impressive. I'll just be straight up. He does have a little bit of paint wear on that right eye, which is kind of annoying. I am not gonna lie. A little bit on the left too, but I do love the shade of purple that they use, and they kind of went with that Prime-esque head sculpt. So I do like these ears here. A little bit of paint or molding wear right there, but it's okay. It's not bad. The reason I'm a little iffy on this is because of the paint. Even down here on the faceplate, it is a tad bit rough, which I'm not a fan of. However, there was only one at the store, and I couldn't really pick them out. But the rest of the figure is pretty solid. Yes, he does have screw holes right here. That is a little bit annoying, but I can live. Do like these paint schemes here. Decepticon logo is nicely painted. Love that Decepticon logo. Do have some die-cast joints right here, or the screws, I mean. And yeah, this of course can remove, and there's a little bit of detail right there. Nothing too big. One thing that kind of bothers me about this figure is actually the lower torso, because it's a combiner joint, essentially. It's a combiner joint, which is a little bit annoying. It's because look at that gap. It's kind of a big gap. I figured maybe if they could have pulled the panel down, that would have been nice. And technically you can do this, but it really just doesn't help much. And then you're left with this. So, yeah, that kind of blows. Though I do like the green they have going on here with these silver bits. Same with the shoulders. I like the green molding. Because these are molded in kind of this bluish-green color, which I do like. And the legs are standard white, you know, do have some openings there where you can see the joints, but nothing too major. Legs are nicely detailed. I do love these wings here. That Decepticon logo is very, very pretty. And looking at the back, some nice details. You know, these are kind of tough to stay together. You kind of always have to consistently squeeze these legs together for them to work, but they do have nice detail. Love that molding. His little feet are gray. And they're at the bottoms. You can consider that a peg hole, I guess. But he can stand pretty well. I mean, it's really nothing too bad. There he is, standing. He's a tad bit loose. I mean, he kind of flops around his legs right here, just very easily, which is kind of unfortunate, but what can you do? And his cockpit is somewhat nicely painted. There's some wear right there, actually, if you can tell. A little bit of paint wear there, which is annoying, but this is rubberized for whatever reason they had. I'm not sure why they made it that way, but yeah. And so yeah, that's Dreadwind. He's okay. When I get into the transformation in a moment, you'll see why he's very Combiners Wars esque. Anyway, let's get into articulation. His head can rotate fully because it's on a ball joint and can move up barely anything, but can go down a little bit side to side, and yeah. His shoulders can move out like that and go out and in. They can rotate at the upper arm, and he does have a 90-degree bend at the elbow, and it can do that. And I actually thought it could go back more, but I guess it can't. The hands, unfortunately, cannot move at all. That kind of sucks. He does have a waist swivel here. Actually, can do the full 360. His legs are on ball joints, so they can go up that much, back that much, and he can almost do the splits. He does have a thigh rotation, and his leg can go forward or back that much, but seriously, that's super annoying. And that's really about it for articulation. He is not the most articulated figure, but he gets the job done. At least I think he gets the job done. I can actually remove this turntable now so we can just take a solid look at the figure. So yeah, I guess I'll get some size comparisons in here. By the way, people, tell me how my lighting is. I'm very curious on how my lighting is right now. I'm using new lights, so let me know. Here is Titan's Return Legends Class Cosmos. And Titan's Return, let me just get her here, Misfire. Deluxe Class Misfire. Obviously, he's bigger than Cosmos and roughly the same height as Misfire. So there you go with that. I'll go ahead and move these out of the way. And here he is next to my alpaca. Yeah, that's always a necessity in times like these. Another thing he comes with that I must mention is his collector card, right? Here's his collector card. Yes, it looks very nice. I do love that artwork. Very pretty. Dreadwind, Decepticon logo, Power of the Primes, and this little logo here. Generations logo. And this is odd. This is, I'm guessing, his tech specs in a way. So Solus Dreadwind forges armor that cloaks him in darkness. So it they've kind of moved on from the tech specs and moved on to these skill sets in a way, which I dig. It explains this symbol actually now. I was wondering what that was. I never even paid attention. But one thing, this is the shittiest piece of cardboard ever. Titan's Return had great material. Combiner Wars had shit. But Titan's Return cardboard was awesome. I know this is a nitpick, but you know, you're paying almost 20 bucks for this guy and you get this really thin piece of cardboard. I mean, look, like, I don't know. You'll know what I mean once you get this in person, because the comparison between this and Titan's Return, this is crap. Come on, Hasbro. We know, you know, we want top-notch stuff, and you're just giving us this crap. So that's unfortunate. He does come with an instruction manual. I'm only showing this off because this is a brand new line. So yeah, Power of the Primes, and it shows like his other modes and stuff for combining and whatnot. There's going to be the arm and stuff, which I don't think I'll show once I do the actual combiner. Yeah, so I mean, this is supposed to be the combiner right here. Grimlock, Jazz, Slug, Swoop, and Dreadwind. But yeah, really, I don't know, because this doesn't even make any sense. And there's the back. So when we get all the Dinobots, they're obviously going to combine into Volcitron, Volcanicus, or something like that. I forget his name. So I guess let's go ahead and transform this guy into his alt mode. Forgive me, I'm a bit rusty. I didn't do this since last night, and I honestly kind of forgot. So let's rotate his head forward, or backward, I mean. Oh god, that paint wear right there, that is so effing annoying. You can unpeg this cockpit from the back, straighten it out, and bring it forward, and it'll kind of peg in and give the head a place to rest. I like to straighten out his arms and kind of move them out of the way for now, and then move on to the legs. Let's move these wings outwards and kind of put these out as well. And we'll separate them, and there's obviously a hinge there and an accordion inside. You do have to straighten it out a bit and kind of just work with it a little bit until you get it where it needs to go. And the same with this side. Again, very, very Combiner Warsy, right? This is very similar, and now you kind of just squish it together, and there you go. With the arms, I like to swing them all the way back and bring the arms down slightly, not all the way yet though. And then these wings will actually separate, and obviously there is a peg here and there is a port right there. And they'll just peg in with each other. And we'll do that here. And then with the arms, what do I do with the arms? Oh yeah, so there's a port right here and a peg right there, and you will just squish them together. Nothing fancy, really. And there's no landing gear either. Technically that can do that, but technically, actually, this could work as landing gear, but I think that looks stupid. And these are rubberized, just a heads up, and there you go. There is his alt mode. Not super exciting, right? I love the color scheme. It's very different than from what we have gotten in the past. We don't really get too many Transformer figures nowadays with this kind of crazy paint scheme, if you will. But I'm digging it. I love it. So there he is. Decepticon logo. I do love these silver streaks along the wings. Those are pretty. Do love the gray paint job they have going on here because it's very glossy, which I do like. Very reflective. And again, these are rubberized for whatever reason they had. Doesn't bother me. I really don't care. Do have that nice red paint scheme right there. The rubberized fin. There's actually some indentations here. I just noticed. His missiles are very, very lame. They are not even painted. They're just molded in that grayish, whitish plastic, which really sucks. And the bottom, you could definitely tell it's a robot down there. You can definitely tell, and I would appreciate if these were kind of painted or they did something, because obviously those are going to be the boosters or whatever the hell you call them on a jet, and they're just not painted. So yeah, there you go with that. Again, not super exciting. If you do want to play around with it, you can use his accessories. This is meant to go on the top, and I guess that looks okay, right? Gives it some spice, if you will, but not by much. And I'm actually curious if there's anywhere else you could put it on him. Technically, you could put it down here, but what's the point if there's only one? If they would have given us two, I think that would look really nice, but they didn't. Son of a bitch. And technically, you can put it in his arms and or on the sides, which again would look cool if there were two guns. But there aren't, because that would look nice. That would look really nice. So, if you're one of those collectors that really just does not weaponize their alt modes with the accessories because Hasbro comes up with really stupid ways to do that, you are not going to like this figure. This can really just go anywhere. It can go on the top if you want. Nah. You know, I was never one to... I mean, that looks okay. Kind of reminds me of Transformer Cybertron where you would put the key in the back. It actually looks kind of cool. I actually like that. And I wonder, I mean, I don't have a little Titans Return Headmaster with me, but I guess you could put one in there. Kind of mess around. Anywho, I suppose I'll just transform him back for y'all. Unpeg the arms. Very simple transformation. Move these all the way back. Peg them in. Move these up. Bring it back. Swing the arms back to their original place. I'm going to move the camera up. And just unpeg these legs. Accordion them back and they'll naturally peg in with each other. You could tell there are ports here and there are pegs right here, and yeah. And just move these forward, and we're almost done already. And move that back, peg it into his back, and finally just rotate the head. So an extremely similar transformation. Again, if you like Combiner Wars, you're going to like this guy. And, you know, I feel like I am just bashing this figure to all hell, but in reality, I'm actually having fun with this figure. He's a lot of fun to pose. Yeah, his paint may not be the best. His transformation kind of blows, and I'm pretty sure they used some kind of retooling from Combiner Wars, but you know what? I'm happy with this guy. I don't own a Dreadwind figure. Never have. And if it wasn't for this guy, I probably never would have. So, you're getting it for the character. That's the way I view Transformers these days. We're getting so many miscellaneous characters that I don't care if their transformation sucks. At least I have that character, because it's about collecting teams, collecting Autobots, collecting Decepticons. And not all of them are going to have good transformations. Not all of them are going to have good paint, and not all of them are going to have good articulation. And personally, if you are a Transformers collector, you're probably not buying for articulation, because 99% of Transformers these days do not even have an ab crunch. And it doesn't bother me. I mean, I'm used to that. I've been collecting for my entire life, so never bothered me before, never will. I'm going to get this guy into a fun little pose and give my final remarks on this guy. One sec. I'm going to just get him in a kind of a who you looking at pose. Yeah, there he is. I might as well bring in his accessory. There he is with his collector card, with his really cheap collector card and this little thing. So, if you do see this guy in stores, I recommend picking him up. It's the first of the line, and honestly, if you're just a casual collector, he's a fun figure. If you're going after the main bots and main cons like Prime, Megatron, Bumblebee, Jazz, stuff like that, you probably don't need this guy. He's such a miscellaneous character. I mean, Dreadwind, most people haven't heard of Dreadwind. I actually thought his name was Dreadwind for a while. That's why I was kind of like, why does he look like that? So, I recommend this guy because he's a lot of fun, and he's the first of the series. Let's give it a chance. As always, check out the Sanctuary on our Facebook group page, as well as our YouTube channel, where we currently host all of our podcasts and live streams. Also, go check out the content creators of the Sanctuary. Got a lot of good content creators out there, and all of them are in the description below. And with that said, people, if you did enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, comment. Check out my site at SunSpotReviewz.com, and I will see you guys in my next video.